Storm Tracker 6. This is Forecast First, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
We've seen a mix of clouds and sunshine across the area today. Certainly more clouds central and northern sections up in Michigan because of this area of low pressure that's beginning to move away, and eventually will take those clouds with it. There's kind of the bisecting line. Southern sections of Michigan seeing a lot of sunshine today and very nice. For northern sections, it's been more of a cloudy day than anything else. Temperatures currently in the mid-60s from Alma north to Mount Pleasant. South to Lansing at 68, but 70 the current temperature in Jackson, and lower 70s along the state line. Forecast-wise for tonight, temperatures will bottom out in the mid-50s. A warmer start today tomorrow morning. It warms up in a big way tomorrow afternoon, but the winds really start to crank up. 6 News at 5:30 starts right now.
WLNS is here for you, celebrating 75 years of bringing you the news with 6 News at 5:30.
Right now at 5:30, U of M canceled a security contract over what they say was disturbing behavior. Plus, another state is set to make medically assisted suicide legal. And BTS fans have a lot to celebrate this week thanks to the military. Those stories and a lot more and all in the first 6 minutes. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm Siobhan Klepfer. Let's start that clock. And we begin tonight in Detroit, where a woman's family has filed a $25 million lawsuit against 2 police officers, accusing them of haphazardly firing into a crowd, killing her. 19-year-old Amani Peterson was at a block party last June when police arrived after calls about shots fired in the area. The lawsuit says the 2 officers went into a dimly lit yard and fired their guns, hitting Peterson. She died 2 weeks later, and medical examiners ruled her death a homicide. Detroit Police Department officials told reporters they do not comment on pending lawsuits. In a Kalamazoo County courtroom on Monday, a judge sentenced an arsonist to between 17 and 20 years in prison. George Stenard admitted to setting multiple fires last summer. Nobody died in the fires, but 3 firefighters were injured on the job, and several people lost their homes when one of the fires spread. He pleaded guilty in May. Authorities are investigating after 2 campers were found dead at Isle Royale National Park, one of the most remote and least visited national parks in the country. Park rangers say they received reports of 2 people found dead at a remote campground within the park. The 2 campers have not been identified. It's also unclear what caused their deaths. Turning to global news, a former student shot 10 people to death and injured 12 others at a high school in Austria today. Police say the 21-year-old man then killed himself and that he acted alone. The ages of the victims have not been released, but one of those killed, we know, was an adult woman. 36 people and more than 200 other Palestinians were injured while trying to get food from a distribution point today, according to the Gaza Health Ministry. The aid sites are run by the Israeli and U.S.-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. The sites are in military zones that are off limits to independent media. The Israeli military says troops fired warning shots at people they refer to as suspects. And in the West Bank today, the Israeli army launched a raid on the city of Nablus, according to the Palestinian State News Agency. Israeli officials say the army and border police forces began a counterterrorism operation in the area, and that more than 250 structures have been searched, 6 wanted individuals were apprehended, and weapons were confiscated. And the Israel-Palestine war is the focus of attention at the University of Michigan campus in Ann Arbor this week. School officials said on Sunday they're cutting ties with a private security company that was accused of following pro-Palestinian activists on and off campus. Video taken by a student shows what he said is someone who had been following him, who had first claimed he was disabled, and then that Josiah Walker was trying to rob him.
It was extraordinarily racist of this individual to do what he did. It was extraordinarily ableist of him to do what he did. And then it was also extremely dangerous because who knew a bystander could have intervened like a bit more violently.
Walker himself faced 2 trespassing charges from the pro-Palestine encampment last May, which Attorney General Dana Nessel eventually dropped. Speaking of the Attorney General, she announced today that she's joining a bipartisan coalition of 28 states in opposing the sale of customers' genetic information collected by 23andMe. The group filed a lawsuit to block any sale without customers' express informed consent. The DNA testing company filed for bankruptcy in March. Staying with science news, a new report from the British Antarctic Survey says the emperor penguin population declined by 22% between 2018 and 2024. The scientists link the decline to a loss of sea ice in the region. The penguins use the ice for foraging, breeding, and molting. Plus, with less ice, it's easier for predators to get to the penguins. In New York State, the state Senate just passed the Medical Aid in Dying Act. The measure, if approved by Governor Kathy Hochul, would allow anyone diagnosed with a condition that would kill them within 6 months to have the legal right to end their own lives. It would have to happen with a reasonable medical judgment and a patient with decision-making capacity. The clock is ticking for TikTok to remain online here in the U.S. The popular social network app has 9 days left to find a buyer. Congress last year passed a bill forcing TikTok's Chinese parent company ByteDance to sell the platform due to national security concerns. Billionaire businessman Frank McCourt and his partners are among several investment groups bidding to acquire the app.
We don't know ultimately what the Trump administration is going to decide, but we do believe that they will abide by the law. The law requires the disentanglement from the Chinese algorithm. We can do that. We don't know what China is going to do either.
President Trump already extended the deadline twice and is reportedly considering a third reprieve. In South Korea, now that 2 of its members are released from military service, the K-pop megagroup BTS could be heading for a reunion soon. The 7 members of BTS, South Korea's most lucrative musical act, have been on a self-described hiatus since 2022 while they separately undertake the mandatory service. It's required of all South Korean men younger than 30. Members RM and V were released today, and 2 others are expected this week, and the last one later this month. The first 2 to enlist were released last year. And ending the first 6 news in style, a collection of Princess Diana's fashion will be auctioned beginning June 26th in Beverly Hills. Julian's Auctions says the more than 100-item collection is the largest Princess Di auction to date. It includes a 1988 silk floral dress by Belleville Sassoon, dubbed the caring dress because Diana wore it several times on hospital visits, with a price estimate of $200,000 to $300,000. David.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, oh, Princess Diana.
Did you watch that show, The Crown?
I have not, but I have heard good things.
Yeah, the season that dealt with Diana and everything was really interesting.
Yeah, it would be. I wish I had money to just spend on auction items like that, because I would love to own something.
That would be so cool.
Yeah.
Well, weather-wise, not so cool out there. We've got really warm weather on the way, a lot of wind, and more thunderstorms.
All right, your full forecast right after the break. And then